Hey guys, this is Thameem, first year MBBS student in GTMC thiruvarur. Those who achieve this year NEET and those who are going to achieve upcoming NEET, best wishes guys. For first year MBBS, we need to have certain ideas about the books that help you the long way journey. So things is that we need to have an Indian author book and at least one gold standard book. So this video is actually divided into segments like anatomy, physiology and biochemistry. Let's dive into it. For anatomy, we really have a lot of books as you see here. So I just divide these anatomy into segments, this anatomy into multiple segments. So let's see. So we have a lot of books. Let's start with Indian author's book. We have the anatomy. First thing is systemic anatomy. In systemic anatomy, we have like systems like upper limb and thorax and head and neck, abdomen and pelvis, and clinical neuroanatomy. So for this, we have two type of books. One is BDC Chaurasia, and the another one is the book written by Dr. Vishram Singh. So here we can say that both the books are great based on the individual. My friends used this book written by Dr. Chaurasia, and I use for this Vishram Singh's because it provides some illustration which is easily reproducible in university exams. So make sure you read Vishram Singh and BDC Chaurasia both, and make sure which book is apt to you and for the examination. For myself, Vishram Singh is okay because of it easy diagrams and which is easily reproducible in the exams. So based on your experience, based on your usage experience, choose your books wisely. Okay. And for the standard books, there's nothing but that the Gray's Anatomy is the best one for a standard book like for anatomy. So medical generally prefer Gray's Anatomy student edition but not the international edition because the language is quite bit difficult for newcomers. So better to use this students edition, which is a South Asian edition, which is under 2 volumes, now new edition, but old one it is come under only 1 volumes. First read this book and then read the systemic book like Vishram Singh or BDC Chaurasia. Use this book as a main book because it provides a lot of images. Let's see, actually it provides a lot of clinical correlations and better pictures which makes you understand what really happens in our body, and which give a nice diagrams and orientation which makes your anatomy subject fruitful in your first year exams. If you really want to love the anatomy subject, then make sure you read this wonderful Gray's Anatomy, which is the first and foremost edition, and make sure to read all these things which is given here. So if you want to really love the anatomy, then study Gray's Anatomy. So that's a very important thing. Then you can imply this theory content and apply it in your university exams. Till now we finished the systemic anatomies. Now we have come under this general anatomy. Like we have first one is histology, which is actually utilized to the study the different tissues, right? So we have to study the tissues like muscular tissue, the lymphatics, which is given very detailed manner in like the Hindar Bing Singh textbook. And another book is Balakrishnan Shetty, Dr. Balakrishnan Shetty, which is he provide for histology related diagrams and the identification points for the practicals. And another thing is that you must have some general anatomy in your first year. So I have this BDC Chaurasia, but I generally use this general anatomy which is given in the Gray's Anatomy. So I read the general anatomy in the Gray's Anatomy. And I have this Langman's medical embryology book. If you want to really love the embryology thing, make sure to read in the standard books. I also read this one, but not much, but I read this one for the whole year. which makes me sure to read this Langman Medical Embryology. I didn't read much this book, The Inner Being Sing, but I use some of the content. But I majorly use this Langman's Medical Embryology, which is a standard book for the embryology, so which provides much about the knowledge in the content in precise manner. If you want to read content in a precise manner, then make sure to read these things. Apply the contents and how to score more in anatomy, then use this Langman's, and for to improve your knowledge, use this Langman's Medical Embryology. It is a South Asian edition. Okay. If you want to orient something, the theory is not important in case of anatomy. You have to draw more and more things in university exams, and to also to have a better orientation, you need a pictorial memory, right? So for that I use this Theme's atlas, and there is an which is having better images like this one. You have better images about that. We have a lot of correlating clinical things which is given in new edition of Theme Atlas. But another great book is nothing Netter's Atlas, which is one of the most of the medicals use this Netter's Atlas. If you need that, you have a soft copy of that. Don't buy the hard copy. Always better to have a soft copy, because these books actually cost much higher, around 3,000 rupees, which is not great to invest in these books. Better to have a soft copy and use it in your respective laptops or iPads or tabs. So right things to improve a pictorial thing about the anatomy. So make sure to use one of these atlas books to improve your anatomy. The last thing is that in the medical college, there is for a week there's not much happens, but after a week, the first thing is cadaveric ward, and you do the cadaveric dissection, and you need books for cadaveric dissection. For this, there is a two type of books. One is this one is Cunningham's manual, which is used by most of the colleges, and my colleagues also use this one, that is Cunningham's Manual of Practice Anatomy. But another great book is Grant's Dissection of Anatomy. So you can use both that book. The Grant dissection book is come under one volume, but here it is in 3 volumes. So make sure to use of it during dissection hall, and make sure to read these things, which is giving like how to do the incision, to see such thing like like in case of here the superior mediastinum, what are the structures and give the instructions and objectives. They are giving so much things about what is being seen in the cadaver. So what are the structures how to be seen, and how to do incision in the cadaveric dissection. So make sure to read these books and while doing the dissection. And friends, whatever you learn in the dissection hall, which is the one which makes you understand more the anatomical things, because it is seen through your eyes. There is a quote, the eyes don't see what the mind doesn't know. So if you keep on looking the structures which in the dissection hall, which makes you love the anatomy in a more better way, and makes your first year more fruitful, I think so. So for this is the things, guys. These are the books. If you want to gain lot of information along with these books, you can use the books like A.K. Datta's Essential of Anatomy, which is used as a reference because it also have a lot of content which is doesn't need in case of first year. But if you want to know information, use these books. And better to read the Gray's Anatomy along with Vishram Singh or BDC Stavrasia, and for the embryology Langman, and histology is in the Busing. Okay guys, and I put some links which is in the description. Let's quickly speak about some physiology books. Here there are a lot of physiology books ranging from from the easiest book to the hardest book with a lot of contents. The hardest book is nothing but having much more detailed version with all the lot of information here available within a book. But we need to pass the exam and also to understand the subject. This is the foremost thing. for any subject. So we have same thing for any subject. We have two things: one is standard books and Indian author books. For we must prefer the gold standard book, that is the guided and all, which is basically being followed in most of the universities. It is the best book. You can see some of the best diagrams and flowcharts being given here in guided and all with the best illustration. But the cons of this book is actually like a storytelling. So it is like a story. So you have to make sure, if you read guided and all, you make sure to make notes of it when you read. But physiology, to pass the physiology, to understand the physiology, the main thing is to attend the lectures which is given by professors. I had great professors in my college, so I attend these lectures and take notes. The foremost thing is to attend and listen the lectures, and then come and read these books, these great books like this Guidon and Hall, and make sure you have take notes from the lines, not to take everything from it. So as you have a number of flow charts and great diagrams, you can use it well in respective university exams, and make sure you have notes adapted. And for another thing, for another gold standard book, it's Bernay-Levy, and Bernay-Levy is the book I used from the start of the first year and the end of first year, which is a great book. I have a soft copy of that because the book price cost more than 7k, so I can't afford to buy. So make sure to have a soft copy for for books which is overpriced around 5k. And also we have great books like Linda S. Constanzo. These books provides great flow charts and better diagrams to the physiology is mainly based on the flow charts and the diagrams to understand things and to provide better things in the given exam paper. So make sure to have a notes and listen the lectures and read these books. So another great Indian book I read is Hindu Purana, which is a great book, which is I think it is a first edition book, and now it is having come under third edition. So make sure to read these books. I have seen some of these lectures. This is respiratory physiology, which is well explained here, the gastrointestinal system, and these things are very well explained about in detailed subheadings, so which gives in a manner to how to present in exam. So make sure to read this book as a base for the examination and grab some points from the guidance and hall and implement these points in this with Hindu Puranas and Indian author book. So Indian author book is Hindu Purana, and you need also a practical book. So we have the GK Paul Practical Physiology, which is another book which is you need for the practicals in the physiology. And what are the some other books you need? Maybe if you want to improve your knowledge, you can go further to read the another Indian version like GK Paul, which is come under 2 volumes. And also for the practical physiology, we also have CL Guy Practical Physiology, which is also very important. So yeah, there's a lot, but make sure to have one Indian author book, one gold standard book. So for the last tip for the physiology is to better to take notes and to listen the lectures, and make sure to grab some flowcharts and diagram from the foreign authors like gold standard books like Guyton and Hall, Bernay-Levy, and Linda S. Constanzo. Use for the theory lines from the Indian author books. That's it, guys. Lastly, we are at the end of the video. For the Indian author book, for the biochemistry, we have the Vasudevan and Satyanarayanan. And this Satyanarayanan 9th edition, I have that. And it has been more detailed version. And the 8th edition is also a detailed version. But the 9th edition is a concise version of this 8th edition, and written by Dr. D.M. Vasudevan. And we also have a book called Satyanarayanan. I don't have the book as an hard copy, but I have a soft copy, and it's much more useful in some topics, but all the things have been greatly explained here in the Vasudevan. So better to read Vasudevan as it have all the contents, but not all the contents explained very clearly in the, as I said, in an Indian author book. So we also have some gold standard books like Lippincott. this book have a great illustration. I have seventh edition, and have great books. Like I can see that have a detailed the flow charts related to the summary of this chapter. And I specifically read for this book only for a molecular biology, because I have greatly explained and oriented and better flow charts here. And for the metabolism, I prefer to read Harper, the 31st edition, and here having much more oriented and have to gain more knowledge about the metabolism. You make sure really read this book. It is very awesome to read because it contains all the contents which are essential, and which explains some unexplainable things, like which is given in Vasudevan. So we make sure to better read this Harper for metabolism, then go for the Vasudevan. And for the it is has to be best for the molecular biology, but not great as Lippincott. So make sure to read Harper for metabolism. All the MCQs which is asked in the USMLE or NEET PG have been taken from this Harper only. So but make sure to read in the first year MBBS. So make sure to have a hard copy or else a soft copy. So there is three books which is very essential for the biochemistry. These two are the gold standard, and this one you have to have to pass in the exams and the viva related. And for to gain more and more knowledge about to prepare for the NEET PG in first year, make sure to have some review books. Like this one is Rebecca James. She is an faculty of Marrow, and there is a Rebecca James Biochemistry Self-Assessment. You have a very good orientation about the everything, which is a concise version of all the books which is given here, like Harper, Lippincott, Devlin. And here we have at the end of each chapter you have MCQs. So make sure to prepare the chapter and do MCQs, which is very important for the NEET PG aspect, and also for your latest curriculum CMBE. So that's very important to prepare based on our latest curriculum, and also for the your university exams. Hope you got some ideas. And one thing is that the cost of these gold standard books is much higher than other books, so it is better to have a soft copy, or you can buy this as a group with your friends. And always read gold standard first and then apply this in exams with Indian author books. It is like a best way to represent your answers to examiners. And that's it. For more vlogs and study related videos, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel, and thank you.